just called it tourism because I couldn't think of anything smarter than that. But we have Corey Jobe, who is the obviously current alderman here in Springfield, but is the state director of the Illinois Tourism Department, and Gina Gimberling, who is the head of the, I always screw up the title, Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau, and so forth. So I'm going to introduce Corey. Corey's going to go first, and then Gina, and then we'll open it up for some questions after that. So, all yours.
Great. Well, good morning. Now we could move everybody to the front, but it's like school. Well, it's quite an honor to be here in Springfield today. Obviously, Springfield's my home. I'm obviously just got reelected my second term on the Springfield City Council, and I've had this great pleasure of being appointed by Governor Rauner to lead the Illinois Office of Tourism since January of this year. And it's been quite an adventure. This is a very big state, but it's always good to be home to talk to community leaders, business leaders about what I think is a major economic engine here in the state of Illinois, and that's the industry of tourism. And so when I was asked to speak here today, it's been good because we've been around the state talking to elected officials, municipal leaders, community organizations about the value of tourism, not only in terms of development, but what we're doing statewide in terms of marketing and promotion. So I'm going to jump around a little bit this morning, but I want to talk a little bit about why supporting tourism is such a value in terms of reinvestment. You know, tourism brings private reinvestment into communities. It supports business growth and job creation. Viable tourism areas provide places for entrepreneurs to succeed, increasing the viability and vitality of the commercial area in a community. This in turn supports economic growth throughout the entire community. Downtowns and local attractions project the community's image to visitors and potential investors. Healthy commercial districts reflect a community that cares. In the end, the overall tourism product provides local focus and stability. I'm going to talk a little bit about some economic impact numbers. I'm going to backtrack a bit to talk about 2013 because it was a pretty important year for the Illinois tourism industry. In 2013, we hosted 105.7 million visitors and directly supported more than 300,000 jobs around the state. But 2014 was even bigger than 2013. So let's dive a little bit deeper into those 2014 numbers and look at how important they were for the state. Domestically, we welcomed more than 107 million visitors to Illinois, a 3.8% increase over 2013 and a new record. And internationally, we tacked on another 2 million visitors, bringing our overall visitor total close to 110 million visitors. All of those millions of visitors created massive expenditures in Illinois to the tune of more than $36 billion, a 5.1% increase. So just take a moment and let that number sink in. $36 billion, that's with a B, all spent right here in Illinois. What's more, state and local tax revenues generated from travel reached $2.7 billion in 2014. This is an increase of nearly $134 million in one single year. And most importantly, these visitor expenditures save an average Illinois household $1,300 in taxes each year. And an increase of 7.6% brought our hotel motel tax revenues up to $255 million. And that's very important because 100% of the hotel motel tax receipts that are collected at the state level each year go to support our industry. And this is a nugget I like to point out. We created an additional 5,000 new jobs directly and indirectly from tourism, and I can't think of any other industry creating those kind of job numbers. Now, this sort of success, the big figures and our visitors didn't appear magically. I want to talk a little bit about our new marketing campaign. Starting with our new brand campaign, we've taken a more emotional stance on what it means to experience Illinois. Our message to travelers is to find something more in Illinois. Try new experiences. Make new emotional connections. Those are the things that make a trip memorable. You know, I often hear from travelers when I'm traveling the state that they are surprised by the array of experiences they can have in Illinois. From history to culture to outdoor adventure, we really do have it all. Let's see. Twenty 2015 has been a good year for us. I also want to highlight some of our social media campaign efforts. One of our efforts was dubbed Mile Markers. This past year, we sought to reach younger travelers through this program. Millennials possess growing spending power and are quickly becoming an important target audience for travel brands. With more than 300 million active monthly users, 90% of whom are under the age of 35, Instagram presented itself as the perfect medium to reach this group. So we partnered with 13 talented young and influential photographers on Instagram with large followings of their own. We sent them to destinations like Route 66, the Shawnee National Forest, Galena, Starved Rock, Quincy, and the Great River Road. As a result, our Instagram account in those regions saw a 250% increase in followers, as well as a big usage to the Enjoy Illinois hashtag. Fans told us things like, "I have to go to Illinois now, and I love these pictures of Illinois. I live here and can't wait to see these places." In addition to connecting with millennials, social media provides us the opportunity to be nimble and insert ourselves into real-time conversations. Culinary travel was a major topic in the tourism industry this year. Building on its popularity and to highlight it as a travel passion point across the state, we developed our own culinary distinction called Delicious Destinations. Launched in September, our honorees celebrated the state's diversity of culinary offerings, driving visitors to these local communities and businesses, and generating buzz in social media and traditional media outlets. Altogether, we've awarded 25 restaurants all throughout the state. Moving on from domestic initiatives, I want to talk a little bit about our international presence we've established for the state. Globally, we are currently deeply rooted in Canada, the UK, Germany, and Japan with both trade and consumer marketing programs. We are also deeply rooted in these 4 additional markets with travel and trade relations. All of these countries represent a special interest for Illinois as we continue to attract and engage our international guests. And in China, we launched our first ever consumer marketing campaign in coordination with Brand USA. In addition to a video spot that was shown to Chinese consumer audiences, our custom website provides more information on a variety of destinations for every travel interest. Media familiarization trips, or FAMs, have been a critical component of our international marketing program for years. In the last 12 months, we've hosted 24 FAMs from our key markets in the UK, Germany, Japan, China, and in Canada. Those trips have traversed all over Illinois, pinpointing some of our biggest travel categories, again like Route 66, the Great River Road, the Lincoln Legacy here in Springfield, and in the Chicagoland region. In addition, our teams remain focused this year to attract bloggers and social media influencers to help maximize our reach and online visibility. I'm very proud of our economic impact figures and the work we've done to stimulate travel to Illinois. Before I share a couple of initiatives as where we're headed in the coming year, I want to talk about how this all comes together locally. I'm going to give a couple examples, and I'm going to first talk about return on investment just north of us here in the city of Pontiac. With many small towns across the country struggling to keep their downtowns afloat, Pontiac has embraced tourism as its popularity along the famed Route 66, one of our 7 national scenic byways here in Illinois. As Mayor Robert Russell said, rather than waiting for the state and federal governments to come to help us grow and progress, we have all worked together to create a whole new potential revenue stream for the city, and that is tourism. Since 1988, there's been a dedicated group of individuals in the Pontiac area pursuing and revitalizing their Main Street and Square corridor. The organization's name is PROUD, Pontiac Redeveloping Our United Downtown, focused on Route 66 heritage and driving more tourism to Pontiac because of it. Pontiac understands that tourism is economic development. Over the years, Pontiac has developed several attractions to keep and retain tourists, especially international guests. That includes the Illinois Route 66 Hall of Fame and Museum, the Pontiac Oakland Automobile Museum, and the town's 23 outdoor murals, including the oldest and largest mural in Pontiac, which is here in the left, the Route 66 Shield, which, by the way, is the cover of the National Geographic's 2016 promotional calendar. So that image will be all over the world in 2016. Another positive factor for tourism around Pontiac is its volunteers, business staff, and locals who contribute to creating a hometown feeling of Americana for our foreign visitors. The results in Pontiac have been remarkable. By playing up its Route 66 heritage, Pontiac has seen double-digit percentage increases in tourism each year for over a decade. This town of 11,931 has welcomed foreign visitors from 158 of the world's 196 counties. On a recent trip to Pontiac, 3 weeks ago today, I thought the mayor had to set this up, but he couldn't have possibly done it. I was touring Pontiac with the mayor, and I ran in and met over 30 foreign visitors from around the world in just one afternoon in Pontiac. Additionally, business vacancy rates in downtown Pontiac are just 1%. And with the surge in Route 66 tourism, a new $20 million 79-room Hampton Inn is being built and will open next year. Our next showcase is the City of Rockford and their return on investments. Special events such as Stroll on State, a holiday promotion bringing the entire city together, led by the Convention and Visitor Bureau, has attracting over 100,000 people in just its 3rd year in existence. And local attractions like the Rockford City Market attract more than 75,000 people a year. And those individuals, it's a seasonal market with 65 local growers and vendors who come from within a 150-mile radius of Rockford. That Rockford City Market has now spawned new entrepreneurs opening up 3 new businesses in the downtown in the past 2 years. The Rockford CVB and city leaders have embraced youth sports and sports tourism as a way to impact their downtown and fill hotel rooms. The movement is contagious. Rockford is becoming known in the Midwest as the place to be for youth sports tournaments, filling hotel rooms in the immediate area and beyond each weekend. 13 first-time and returning events are coming to Rockford that will bring a total of $2.6 million to the Rockford region in local tax receipts the remainder of this year and into 2016. To keep up with the demand, the city is building the new $24.4 million sports core downtown facility in Rockford. The 105,000 square foot facility will be used 365 days a year for basketball, volleyball, wrestling, cheerleading, and other tournaments and activities. Enhancing regional venues for athletic tournaments is seen as critical to upholding Rockford's reputation as a sports tourism destination. Visitors spent more than $16 million this past year when in town for tournaments at Sports Core 1 in Rockford and Sports Core 2 in Loves Park. So that means the sports tourism is not only happening in Rockford but within the region as well. This effort has helped launch a massive hotel and conference center redevelopment project totaling over $200 million in the downtown area that will be much needed meeting space and sleeping rooms to support the industry. Now, one way we're attracting visitors in the coming year, we're shaking things up and taking a new look at a concept of a traditional travel guide. I'm going to point out 2 initiatives we're working on in 16, and then I'll close. I think Bob may be giving me the hook. You're looking at images of our current travel guide. When considering how to enhance the user experience with this publication, we wanted to create a tool that would inspire consumers to travel to the state. With our site set on particular goals of inspiring travelers and creating this new product, we'll be debuting a brand new lifestyle leisure travel magazine. That magazine will be simply known as Enjoy. Replacing our annual travel guide, Enjoy will be a printed biannual publication similar to your favorite travel magazines that you see on the newsstands, and believe you me, you'll want to pull this from the newsstand. Separate from a typical travel guide, the magazine will convey experiences instead of copious attraction listings, and in the end, drive our readers back to enjoyillinois.com where they can learn about their destinations they are interested in. In between our print versions, our interactive digital version will extend our reach, provide deeper content on enjoyillinois.com, and offer special web exclusives for our loyal audiences on a monthly basis. In addition, our tablet app will mirror the online version and make sure that we are reaching our consumers and visitors wherever they are. Before I dive into our second initiative, I've got a short video to introduce it. Gentleman's David Stein. He's from Dow, Illinois, in downstate Illinois. And as we all know, Illinois is full of artisans, performers, innovators, pioneers, makers, and doers. Their passion for what they do and how they do it makes a positive impact on the people and culture of our state. This year, our office, along with the help of our 40 local convention and visitor bureaus, will be launching the Illinois Made campaign, featuring a variety of local people creating things in our great state. Their stories will be shared through a series of short films and documentaries that will be showcased through advertising, social media, the website, and much more. We want to instill a sense of pride in our state, inspire travel to these local businesses, and reshape perceptions about Illinois. I want to first thank you all for having me this morning. I want to leave you with a couple things before I go, though. A 3 points. First, remember that everywhere across the state, tourism means jobs. In 2014 alone, the Illinois tourism industry supported more than 300,000 jobs, including 5,000 jobs that didn't exist in 2013. Secondly, tourism has an immense opportunity to improve the quality of life for all residents in Illinois. We all benefit from thriving businesses, more vibrant downtown districts, and family-friendly attractions. Third, tourism has a major economic impact in Illinois. Just last year, we generated $36 billion in visitor spending, saving the average Illinois household $1,300 in taxes. I also want to remind you to all follow along with us on our social media channels. Yes, we're very active in social media, and I encourage you to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And of course, don't forget to use the Enjoy Illinois hashtag. Don't forget to join us for our annual educational conference. The Governor's Conference on Travel and Tourism will be returning for the first time in nearly 10 years to right here in the capital city in always legendary Springfield from March 21st through the 23rd. Before I go, let me address the state's current financial situation. It's no secret that significant financial challenges lie ahead for Illinois and its state agencies. We don't yet fully know what the scale of those challenges will be, but we do know that no matter what, together we'll find the best use of our resources and think creatively to continue pushing Illinois tourism forward. I'm incredibly excited about the opportunities ahead of our industry, and with your passion and perseverance, I'm confident we can build an even greater success over the next few years for our state and our local communities working together. Thank you.
Good morning. What a pleasure to be here with all of you this morning. Thanks, Corey, for letting us know what's going on around the state. We sure are fortunate to have the Illinois Office of Tourism Director right here in our home city of Springfield. So he's been a great supporter of ours, and we're looking forward to working with him the next several years. Today I'm just going to give you a little overview of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, what we do proactively to bring tourists to our community and the economic dollars into our community. The Convention and Visitors Bureau is the official destination marketing organization for the city of Springfield. We promote, sell, and service Springfield as a leisure and convention destination. We are an agency of municipal government funded by hotel lodging taxes and grants from the Illinois Office of Tourism. We hope. And the CVB has a 14-person staff of sales, marketing, and service professionals who work in cooperation to support our mission of enhancing the local economy by attracting convention and leisure travelers to the city. Tourism is an economic engine. In 2014, visitors spent $420.5 million in Sangamon County and generated $7.77 million in local tax revenues. Over 3,200 people are employed in the hospitality industry in Sangamon County. Destination marketing continues to be more and more competitive as communities recognize the tremendous economic impact tourism dollars bring to a community. We compete with communities across the United States for leisure and group business. Many sectors of our local economy rely on business from tourists, including hotels, restaurants, gas stations, retail, attractions, recreational facilities, performing arts venues, and more. Local and state taxes generated through tourism support infrastructure and services that benefit the entire community. In fact, Illinois tourism saves the average household $1,300 in taxes each year. As local citizens, we all benefit from the cultural, historical, and recreational opportunities our tourism industry provides. Each year, the Convention and Visitors Bureau implements a comprehensive marketing plan to promote leisure tourism and group sales. I brought a few copies of our fiscal year 16 marketing plan with me today. If you are interested in a copy, please be sure to see me after the presentation. Some of the key components in our fiscal year marketing plan are consistent messaging across all channels, fresh content, enhanced video and photography assets, e-marketing to leisure consumers and meeting and group planners, an enhanced website, and enhanced data collection and tracking. We promote Springfield through paid advertising in print publications, television, digitally, and social media. Additionally, we have a proactive program to gain coverage of Springfield in publications, blogs, radio, online, and television, through our media outreach and hosting travel writers within the city. We also produce branded collateral and materials, such as our visitor's guide, maps of the city, restaurant guides, meeting planner guides, bid presentation, and much more. Although our primary marketing tool, of course, is our website, a complete resource of planning a trip in Springfield, utilizing SEO and fresh content to keep it highly ranked in searches. The website offers an overview of everything there is to see and do in Springfield, including hotels, dining, shopping, special events, entertainment, and recreation opportunities. It also features an online booking engine so visitors can book their stay directly from our site. Our website is a powerful marketing resource for local businesses and events, giving them the opportunity to log in directly and update their information, list special offers, packages, and images. The most visible and important project we completed last year was the launch of the CVB's new Always Legendary brand. After many months of partner discovery and creative development, the brand was revealed in an outdoor street party attended by several hundred hospitality partners, elected officials, and tourism supporters. The new Always Legendary brand captures the experience you can only find one place in the world, Springfield, and it will be the core of our sales and marketing efforts moving forward. We recently produced a new destination video. This video will be highlighted on our website, our social media, and e-marketing campaigns. Let's take a look. Springfield is chosen as a location for state, regional, and national conventions and events for many reasons, including our central location and ease of access, our quality hotel facilities and convention facilities, complimentary services and support provided by the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and plenty of historic sites and attractions for attendees to enjoy. We host all types of groups, including associations, military reunions and organizations, sporting events, religious and faith-based conventions, youth events, car shows, agricultural meetings and events. The proactive efforts of our sales team attract and book meetings and conventions for Springfield. Oftentimes, our team is able to successfully promote the benefits of bringing a meeting or convention to Springfield to planners who never considered the possibility of bringing their event to our city. We work in partnership with our hotel community, the Prairie Capital Convention Center, the Illinois State Fairgrounds, our local sports facilities, the Springfield Hotel Lodging Association, and the Capital Area Sports Commission to develop competitive bid packages. We carefully research what factors will help secure a piece of business for our city, and we do our best to deliver a proposal that will win the bid. We also recently completed a new video for meeting planners. It offers an overview of the unique benefits of hosting a meeting in Springfield.
Choose always legendary Springfield, Illinois for your next meeting or event. Springfield is a city where legends begin. From Abraham Lincoln to the iconic Route 66, we honor the past while looking toward the future. Find the best of Midwest hospitality in any of our 3 distinct convention areas, each featuring well-equipped facilities and a wide range of options and amenities to exceed your attendees' expectations. Near the center of the country and close to the heart of the nation, Springfield's central location means easy travel for your guests and great attendance for your next event. Here, your guests can explore history, enjoy our walkable downtown, sample local microbrews, and schedule some downtime tea time. With all there is to see and do, your guests will be excited to visit Lincoln's hometown to attend your next event. The Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau is here to help. Take advantage of our services and amenities and let our experienced team help make your next meeting legendary.
Positive visitor experience is also a priority for the Convention and Visitors Bureau. Whether travelers are here for Abraham Lincoln, Route 66, business travel, or anything that may bring them to our capital city, the CVB provides services to assist. The CVB creates visitor information materials and makes them available to local hospitality partners, our sites and attractions, businesses, conventions, meetings, and events. We also provide services to organizations meeting in Springfield that assist the meeting planners, enhance events, increase attendance, and increase overall attendee spending. We enhance the experience so visitors may extend their stay, plan to return, and ultimately increase visitor spending. We continue to evaluate our core services and investigate new opportunities to provide visitors with services that promote satisfaction, destination loyalty, and referrals. Hundreds of thousands of people visit Springfield each year. We offer them something they can't find anyplace else, the always legendary experience of Springfield, Illinois. We are proud to be able to promote our city and enhance our local economy through our efforts. Before closing, I would like to tell you about our Celebrity Citizen program. Most of us belong to a handful of organizations and travel outside the community to events associated with these organizations. We are asking the citizens of Springfield to help the local economy by getting involved in these organizations and partner with the Convention and Visitors Bureau to bring these events home to Springfield. By doing this, you will become a celebrity citizen. Our celebrity citizens are highly valued and recognized for their contribution at our annual Legends in Tourism event during National Tourism Week in May. Please consider becoming a celebrity citizen. Get in touch with our office, and we would be happy to provide you with more information on how we can work together to bring your organization to Springfield. Thank you.
Thank you. Is this on? I'll use this one. We're going to open up to some questions, and I think what I'll do is ask both of you to come back up here, if we may, and so forth. So I can't see a damn thing. So, Paul? I see Paul.
The obvious question. Hello, Larry. Thanks for all the information. Anyhow, a couple of questions. One is about the Illinois State Museum and your involvement in that in terms of the impact in Springfield for the tourism factor. I think that's important, and on everybody's mind now there's a little bit of a delay on that, of course. The other is maybe, I didn't see any food places on there, Corey, in the Illinois map of food destinations. And the other is, do you have another feature on Springfield like Rockford and Pontiac?
Oh, yeah. Sure. So, where you mentioned the delicious destinations?
Yes.
So Charlie Parker's was an award winner.
Oh, was it?
And we're looking at continuing that. You know, the delicious destinations concept came out of when the state and the city of Chicago won the bid to host the James Beard Awards. I don't know if anybody knows what the James Beard Awards is. I know Chef Higgins will know. But that's really the Oscars of the food industry. And the New York City hosted it for 24 years, and they were celebrating their 25th anniversary this past year. And there was a partnership created, and the James Beard Award Foundation chose Chicago to host the James Beard Awards, not only this year, but for the next 2 years. And so we wanted to kind of dovetail with that to how we could create some sort of social media impact and talk about tourism through food around the state. So that's why we created Delicious Destinations. And we're looking at doing something similar to that in the coming year as well. As for the return on investment slide, yes, we have several different. We have a Springfield example. We've got 10 or 12 different examples we use in a presentation around the state. Just depends where we're at. Yep.
Yes.
The State Museum.
Oh, still.
The State Museum.
Oh, you want me to answer? I don't want to.
First question.
Well, as you know, I said earlier, I mean, really, I don't have responsibility of the Illinois State Museum. It's my responsibility to market and promote the state domestically and internationally. That obviously falls under the Department of Natural Resources. Obviously, it's a major destination point or a piece of the destination here in the city of Springfield. And that decision will happen over at the state capitol, what happens at the long term of that. But we continue to market and promote the Illinois State Museum through the Convention and Visitor Bureau as another site here at the destination of Springfield.
Yes,
How do
please.
you get those counts, Corey? I mean, what is it? Who stays at hotels?
Yeah, so how do we get our economic impact numbers? Two sources, from the U.S. Department of Commerce and then the U.S. Travel Association. We gauge, we count what we consider a visitor, whether it's business, leisure, domestic, or international, whether they're traveling 50 miles outside of their home zip code or radius. That's the base of how we track that. And then we work with the Illinois Department of Revenue on a monthly basis to calculate hotel motel tax impact. And then with our international visitors, it's obviously, having O'Hare as a major gateway, not only domestically but obviously internationally. We're working with them constantly and with the U.S. Department of Commerce. But there is a structured formula. It's how we come with our visitor numbers is broken down county by county. I can't give it city by city, but a major city, obviously being Springfield and Sangamon County, Springfield's the driving force, but we know there's tourism activity all around the county because of what's happening here in Springfield and being the home for the Lincoln sites and the various partnerships like the Looking for Lincoln initiative and those sorts of things that are driving visitors out. But we study it on a county by county basis.
Do the state fair accountants help you with that? Michael?
I really enjoyed your videos on tourism, but don't you think, because, you say you have nothing to do with the State Museum, so don't you think you should edit those videos to take out all the pictures that were in there from the State Museums? Don't you think you should edit that video on the artisan program, because no longer will artisan program be there for the State Museum? And don't you think you should edit your information to say that something like 85 people will no longer have jobs, and the students will no longer be going to there, so the programs for students through the State Museum will be gone. And don't you think you should edit your program to say that $37 million will be taken out of communities because of the closure of the State Museum?
I think that was excellent, but I don't think it was a real question. You want to speak to it? There's no answer to it right now. But you can speak to it if you want.
The question is, don't you think you should edit your videos and take that out?
I know.
That's a good question, and actually we've heard that question just in the last couple of weeks since we launched the video. Of course, that video project started several months ago. We do have a contingency plan in place to replace some of that footage, depending on, of course, what happens with the Illinois State Museum.
Be more like you could have visited these places. Another question? Yes, Mayor? No, Sheila.
The mayor? Oh.
Sheila. No. Yes. No, I misspoke.
Thank you, Bob. What specific impacts do you foresee with the lack of the budget, specifically, in Illinois tourism?
I knew when this presentation came up on my schedule today that I would get all the tough questions. No, that's a very good question, Sheila. Right now, obviously, 100% of the hotel motel taxes on the state side are collected and distributed amongst many different pots of money, pots of areas before it gets to the Illinois Office of Tourism. So yes, we are impacted by the state budget right now. We provide operating expenses to our 40 convention visitor bureaus, so that's having an impact. But right now, we're all working collectively together. I can say that the impressive tourism numbers that we showed in 2013-14, those have continued to trend in a positive direction. Hotel motel tax receipts are up in the first 2 quarters year to date, 13.5%. And we're just looking at doing things a little differently until we do have the budget in place. We're dark in terms of a domestic ad campaign right now. Our international effort has shrunk back a little bit. But yeah, we are not, it does have an impact. The important thing to remember that tourism is really a part of solving the issues of our budget problems, because if you look at it, we spend roughly, by state law, we're to get 33 1/3% of the overall state hotel motel tax receipts. The legislature has never given the Illinois Office of Tourism that full money. By state statute, we get about 27%. But with that 27%, we spend about $60 million a year, which is the 5th largest tourism budget in the country, and we return about $195 million a year and growing to the general revenue fund each year for much needed programs and services for our most vulnerable citizens in the state. So we are a great return on investment. We are a major economic engine, and we provide much needed revenue for the general revenue fund, all because of what tourism is doing in terms of attracting leisure and business travelers to the state. So yes, we are impacted. We're paying close attention to what's happening at the state capitol and hope it will be solved very soon, because we do provide revenue. Not only are we providing a positive marketing experience for the state, but we're also providing revenue for the state.
Paul?
Yeah, and I noticed you hit the international business and attraction very big, and I can see that as an important factor, and that also, I think, relates to O'Hare as a destination, Illinois as a destination.
Right.
In general.
Well,
we could maybe promote in the airports and in Chicago a little bit. Would that be helpful to get some of those?
Yes. Well, we are. Right now, we have had serious conversations. I mean, Chicago is it's perfect for us in terms of domestically and internationally. I'll be honest with you, over the years we've primarily put our focus in our domestic ad campaign in the Midwest. We're going to be switching that up, dropping our Midwest approach will be our Illinois Made campaign, which will be driving visitors from within the state around the state, and then also our Midwest markets like Milwaukee, St. Louis, Louisville, Des Moines, those markets. Our Find Something More ad campaign will go more nationally. So it'll be more on a national cable television buy. So when you see those Pure Michigan ads pop up 8 and 10 times a day on your favorite cable channels like Food Network, et cetera, you're going to see our Find Something More campaign right there with them, because we've never taken to a more national approach. We've done more regional. And then once we find this all the time, and we're surveying visitors on a daily basis coming into O'Hare and at various large sites within the city of Chicago, that people from the East Coast and the West Coast have no clue about the Midwest, let alone Chicago. And once we get them to Chicago, they like to get out and explore. And we've seen that internationally, because the international market still travels through a travel agency. They book typically in group or a group type situation. So we see those bookings at hotels here in Springfield, outside of Chicago, along the Great River Country, up in Galena, we're seeing more bookings. And so we use Chicago, and especially O'Hare. One thing we're doing with O'Hare International Airport and McCormick Place is we're going to have these new visitor experience kiosks that will have beautiful images of the state, Springfield, Route 66, the Shawnee National Forest, the Great River Road. That'll be more of a touchscreen type kiosk that'll welcome visitors. We're working on a program right now with O'Hare International Airport and also McCormick Place, using those sites as ways to engage a visitor and get them to get out and explore the state.
Yes, Rich.
What figure, if any, do you have on panhandlers in the city of Springfield on the impact on tourism?
That is, obviously, that continues to be a concern of Springfield, and something I think the mayor's office is taking steps to work on to improve those situations, because, of course, when we have visitors and are visiting our fine community, that's not necessarily what we want people their impression of Springfield to be. So we're working with the mayor's office, and the mayor's office is being proactive in that situation.
The interesting thing on tourism is it seems to be unlimited. If we had a $500,000 last year, we clearly got room for $1 million this year, $1.5 million next year. They're kind of unending. What is the city doing to seriously I guess, address the whole issue? Your money comes from the motel tax. If the city doesn't put any money into it per se. Could you talk a little bit about the money?
We are funded through hotel lodging, primarily through hotel lodging tax. The hotel lodging tax in Springfield is 12%. 6 of that goes to the state of Illinois, and 6 comes back to the city of Springfield. Of that 6, the Convention and Visitors Bureau receives 3%. The city of Springfield corporate fund is 2%, and a 1% goes to the infrastructure fund. Our additional funds, though, come through the Illinois Office of Tourism currently through 3 state grants. One that's through, it's all Convention and Visitors Bureau receive a local convention and tourism grant, and that's based on our population, it's based on our number of rooms and our revenues into our community is the percentage. And then we have a marketing partnership grant, $200,000 worth of our marketing efforts, $100,000 of that we get back currently from the state of Illinois, and then we have an international marketing grant that supports our international marketing efforts that we partner with the state of Illinois on.
So there's 3% on the motel tax and so forth that you don't get, we don't use for tourism.
Correct.
Which we could, hypothetically.
We could.
Yes, Michelle? Yeah.
I have a quick question. I don't know if it's for Corey or for Gina. Sorry, I don't know if it's for Corey or for Gina, but my question is, when we lived up in Chicago, we didn't really see a whole lot about Springfield up there, and so I'm wondering if there are any plans to do any kind of marketing, maybe at the Amtrak station, to encourage people to jump on the train and come down for a day, or maybe some kind of travel package, like a train ticket and a special at a restaurant here, and whatever. I was just kind of curious if there was something some kind of plan for that?
Out of our Convention and Visitors Bureau budget, quite honestly, our media budget is pretty small. It's about $150,000 a year that includes leisure, conventions, and sports. That compares to Springfield, Missouri, for example, is about $925,000 to $950,000 they spend in media buys. We have this last year really leveraged and looked at our programming, trying to see where we could find more dollars in our budget, because now that we've launched our Always Legendary brand, we truly believe we need to get that brand out in our main feeder markets, Michelle, like St. Louis and Chicago. So we have increased our media buys by about 70% in our budget this past year. For the first time since I've been at the Bureau, and I've been there 22 years now, we did do TV commercials and TV advertising this summer in the Chicago market, Chicago suburb, actually not in Chicago, within the city, and also the St. Louis area. We also have a fall TV commercials running right now in the Chicago suburb area as well. And then we'll plan a spring and summer of next year commercials in those feeder markets. We're really trying to look at those feeder markets as far as print advertising, where we can get out in those feeder markets. So we're really looking at those efforts right now, and we're trying to increase our presence in Chicago and St. Louis.
Piggybacking on that a minute on Paul and Michelle, a year or so ago, there was a big NATO conference in Chicago, huge, a lot of international groups. They bring a lot of staff. I have no idea how many people. Do we ever formally work with the groups up there that are coming in to really pitch Springfield and to, in fact, work hard enough to try to get them down here? I would think a lot of, maybe not the top people, but I would think a lot of their staff and so forth might have easily been enticed. You know, internationally, Springfield is very attractive. And so do we ever do anything very formal as all these big groups come into, for particularly Chicago, to go up and visit with them, or well, just to make an effort to get some of these people to come down here, particularly when they're in multi-day conferences? Or is that a money problem, just like everything else?
That's a money problem too, Bob, honestly. It's a great concept, and we do partner with our friends up at Choose Chicago, and we do partner with our other Convention and Visitors Bureaus around the state. When any of our other communities around, even Peoria or Bloomington, they might host a convention that did not, unfortunately, choose Springfield. Many times they do choose Springfield to come over for a day, for one of the days they're out seeing the community and to see our sites and attractions. So we do get some business through the other conventions and meetings that are happening around the state, but unfortunately we do not have a formalized outreach for that program.
Michael?
Gina, see a way where we can Springfield develop? Do you see a way in Springfield where we can develop maybe longer stays for visitors, or are we working in that direction? Instead of just like you said, we get the overnight, or we get the one-day visit. Is there ways to package the region to help people stay here longer?
Many of the services we provide, we're working, are directed to increase the overnights and extend the stay. Some of our sites and attractions, Knights Action Park now is doing some packaging with the Presidential Museum. We're trying to put some of those cooperative efforts together. Of course, that will hopefully and eventually increase the amount of stay. Additionally, all of our efforts as far as our website, just even within our office and our visitors area within our office, our visitor service people at our front desk, we try and encourage and let people know how much there is to do here in Springfield and what can we do to encourage them to stay longer.
Jack?
For some time, I've always wondered why we don't have some kind of transportation system for our visitors. If you arrive by large bus, group, train, or somehow you manage to fly into our airport, how do you get around? We have so many attractions. Some are within walking distance of each other, many are not. So if you wanted to see the old state capitol and then go to Lincoln's tomb and possibly then come back to the David Thomas house, how are you getting around if you did not have a vehicle? So I've often wondered why we haven't approached the Springfield Metropolitan Transit about some kind of shuttle bus service, like a zone pass that you could buy for the day, and you would be able to visit more sites. Packaging, as Mike asked, encouraging that your package comes with a pass for transportation. And Corey, have you seen any of this? I think of Rockford, of course, I'm from Chicago, the many sites up there. Half the people in Chicago don't even know there's a Civil War cemetery on the far south side of Chicago. They've never heard of it. So I think we have so much to offer here, but it's very hard. If you were here without transportation, how would you get around?
I can take part of it. We'll tag team this one. We are very fortunate in Springfield that we are a walkable city. So many of our sites and attractions are, it's very walkable, and you'll see the visitors out within our community walking our downtown area. We did have, Springfield Mass Transit did have the historic sites bus. Unfortunately, they did cancel that service. It is obviously an issue. How do we get people out to the tomb? How do we get people out to New Salem? Unfortunately, again, it comes down to budget dollars. We do, though, now that we have the Uber system in Springfield, that's a huge benefit for our visitors, and that's pretty much what we do. And then, of course, there's several car rental agencies in Springfield as well.
Good. One more question, if anybody's got anything. Wally?
2009, we tried to put together, because of Abraham Lincoln's double centennial, 200th birthday, we tried to make this a destination. We had and do have it at the present time, the second largest airport in the city of Springfield. At the present time, I got a daughter right now flying the other way, going out of the United States to Tokyo in 13 and a half hours. With the airport we have, we'll take the biggest planes that are put together. And we were talking back and forth. We had Senator Durbin's office making applications to take direct flights from Australia, from Asia, all the way through European area. We're noted as Abraham Lincoln's hometown. And this was a big event. But when we got to direct for the people who would fly the airplanes, the airplane hasn't, what we were really touching is, get off in Springfield rather than get off in Chicago, come to Springfield, get off in Springfield, do the Abraham Lincoln thing, and then go to Chicago. It was a reverse thing. The message that I got from the people who would be flying those 747s or whatever was that capacity on the airplane was 400 people. Whenever you take 400 people off an airplane, the airplane doesn't make any money sitting on the ground. It's got to keep flying, and that's the answer they gave me. We need to think about this as a destination, and it's there, and it can be sold as kind of super selling. You've got to get in line.
Just maybe a comment on the ability of international outreach directly here. I don't know, either one of you. You want to make a quick comment, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, Wally, it's a good point. I mean, I think it comes down to dollars and cents for these major airlines. We're working right now, the state of Illinois, with Brand USA, who is the United States marketing arm to the world, and we're working on new partnerships with Brand USA and some of our partnering states to beef up our international visitation to the Midwest. We're just launching a brand new initiative with British Airways, to inspire travel to, I think Illinois is beautiful in all 4 seasons. Some people may not like the cold, harsh winters of Illinois, or especially Chicago, but I kind of, that's the best hotel deals, and you can get into your favorite restaurants and walk right into your best shops on Michigan Avenue. But we're trying to find ways to partner. I think it comes down to dollars and cents of getting those airlines to come here. But we're finding that when I was in Pontiac a few weeks ago, we just hosted a travel writing group from China earlier this week, and when we took them to Pontiac, the mayor took them out to his farm, and it was late in the evening, and they all were amazed that they could see the stars in the sky because of all the smog and fog in China, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. And so the point is to get the international visitor wants to experience the real Americana. They have the big cities and the hustles and bustles. That's why Chicago is an important point for us to get them to O'Hare, because of the setup and the ability there. I think it comes down to dollars and cents, though, to these airlines, but we are gaining international visitors around the state. I will say it's an expensive, long-term investment. The UK, Germany, we've been in for 20 years. China, we've just put our foot in the water. The Japan market, we've been in for about 8 years now, and we're seeing some successes, but these are long-term major investments that you got to keep on to make sure they continue to try to find us. So,
thank you. We sincerely thank Corey and Gina for joining us this morning. That concludes our program. Thank you.